So we both agree the defense is really the issue right now. Special teams is right there, frankly. But what is the defense's biggest issue? As Dante Whitner put it last night so well. Let me try to speak clearly. Code red for the defense. They're not doing anything well right now. They're not stopping the run. They're not rushing the quarterback. They're giving up explosive plays in the passing game. So given that it's just a complete, poop show right now, what's their biggest issue?
I got to say is, there's two things. Obviously, there's three things. I'll narrow it down like this. Greenlaw is a big deal. Missing Dre Greenlaw is a big deal because what they have behind him, at least in Devondre Campbell, is not even close. Now, I would love to see him, like we said, go with Curtis Robinson. Let's make a change there, and let's see if we can improve with one of these other younger dudes like Curtis Robinson. So that's one thing I would like to see that they can try this week against the Patriots. Two, this defensive line is just not good. They're not. Nick Bosa is not playing like the highest paid pass rusher in the NFL. Nick Bosa is a good player, but he's not what he's being paid to do. At least he's not performing like it right now. He's not anything close to when he was Defensive Player of the Year. He's not performing at that level right now. Then you have Javon Hargrave, who slight improvement, I guess, go over last year, but still not even near what he's being paid. Not worth it. Malik Collins is good, but he's not a game changer. He's okay. And then Leonard Floyd has not really done much either. I was expecting more from him. He does have a good motor, and I like that about him. I'm not ready to write him off, but I think this defensive line is very subpar. So the absence of Dre Greenlaw and then the defensive line, but really more than anything, I think this defense is more talented than their level they're playing. They have the best linebacker in the NFL. Nick Bosa was Defensive Player of the Year at one point. Travaris Ward, Yamon Lenore, very good. I mean, the issue is with coaching. They have to figure that part out. That's the main issue right now.
Yeah, the issue is very deeply rooted. I mean, it's not one or two things. I'm going to pull up a stat that Jesse Naylor tweeted 45 minutes ago. He writes, coaching matters. Yards per play defensively. Niners 6.1, third worst. Seahawks 3.9, NFL's best. Then he says pressure percentage. Niners 21.7%. They're getting pressure on 21.7% of their opponents' dropbacks. Meanwhile, the Seahawks are at 30% without their best pass rusher playing a single snap. The Niners blitz just 6.5% of the time, which is the lowest in the NFL. Rams are second lowest at 9.5. As we know, the Seahawks bring a whole lot of pressure, or they simulate it. This defense is lacking creativity, writes Jesse Naylor. Niners have gone from near the top of the league defense to one of the worst, while Seattle has done the opposite in just one season. Remarkable. I can't disagree with any of that. So part of it is just schematic. The Niners are outdated on defense. Kyle is stuck in the past where he's clinging to the Seattle-style defense. Seattle doesn't even have that anymore. They're updated with the times, and it's paying off for them. Anyway, that's clearly a big issue schematic, but I think it might even be bigger than that. We saw the clip of Javon Hargrave in the fourth quarter. It was the first play of a drive. He just stands straight up and does nothing the entire play. And if you go back, if you watch Javon Hargrave down in and down out, the effort just isn't there for more than a second or two per play. And it's not just him. Like Nick Bosa isn't exactly the same player he was a few years ago in terms of effort. Like it's scheme, but it's also effort. And this is supposed to be a coach that they bought into. So to me, it seems like they got Steve Wilks fired. Once you give players that kind of power, like who the coach is, who can get them to play hard at that point?
Yeah, and I said when they hired Staley and promoted Nick Sorensen that it was really Staley's actually your defensive coordinator. Nick Sorensen's the face for the players because they're not going to welcome in an outside guy. So I really think Staley's behind this, but I really think let me take that back. I really think Kyle's behind this. This is
Kyle's mess.
Yeah, they need to get creative. One thing I'm seeing this year in general is a lack of creativity on both the offensive side and the defensive side of the ball. They seem to be doing the same old thing, almost less creativity than we've seen in the past. It's this teams going against the Niners know exactly what to expect offensively and defensively. They need to just bring something new and ditch this old defensive scheme that they have and try something completely different.
Dude, if it's 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8, and you need 8-9 yards, just do that little bunch formation on the right side and hit that little out route. The Niners can't stop it.
the Rams ran it against us, and so
Vikings did it. I
yeah,
mean, it's easy. And
yeah.
so again, like if because their issue last year was effort. If you fire Steve Wilkes, what you're essentially doing is excusing the player's poor effort. It's not your fault, Nick. It's not your fault, Javon, that you guys didn't play up to your potential and didn't earn your contract and didn't play even give the requisite effort. It's not your fault. The coach didn't get it out of you. So we're gonna bring in another coach and he's gonna make you play hard. So if you don't play hard this year, hey, it's Nick Sorensen's fault. It's never the player's fault that they didn't play hard. That has to be on them. That has to be on them. And again, like if you scapegoat one defensive coordinator for it, I don't see how you expect the problem to go away. It seems like it's getting worse. Just watch 98 every play.
Well, when last year the main issue was effort, and then your response to the effort issue is to fire the defensive coordinator and not address the players not giving the effort. That's the problem, and that's the culture, and that's the tone you're setting. And it just continued on to this year. It seems like, at least for Javon Hargrave, at minimum, you just that was
And Bosa, I'm not saying he's dogging it, but he's not giving the effort he gave before he got paid. There's a distinct difference.
Yeah, it's frustrating, man, because I do feel like they're very talented. But there's some kind of issue when it comes to effort, and there's a big issue when it comes to scheme. They're not doing anything right. Like Dante Whitner said, that they're not doing anything well. And it's got to change, because if it doesn't, the 49ers are in for a long ass season. This offense is actually playing pretty well without CMC, without Debo Samuel. Brock Purdy, I thought, looked pretty damn good. A couple small missed opportunities that he could have took advantage of, but he shouldn't have. It shouldn't have to come down to that. If this defense isn't giving up 27 points to one of the first worst offensive teams in the league, now you got to give credit to Sean McVay and Matt Stafford. Matt Stafford is one of the quarterbacks I consider elite in the NFL, and he showed you why. He didn't need Puka Nacua. He didn't need Cooper Kupp to do his thing last night. Sean McVay is a good play caller. They made the best of their situation, missing multiple starting offensive linemen, missing both their starting receivers. They were still able to make Tutu Atwell a star with Matt Stafford and Sean McVay. So you got to give some kind of credit to them. But this defense, there's no excuse. You can't get defeated by the Rams and this beat up offense that they were going against and allow them to play the way they did. The 6.1 yards per play, I believe, is the statistic for the 49ers are giving up. That's horrible. And I think, to me, it starts up front in the trenches. And one of the reasons why is there's no investment. The two investments I thought the 49ers were going to make this year were in the trenches. Offensive side, defensive side. I thought they were going to go after a D tackle. They didn't. And they continue to not invest in those positions, and you're seeing the consequences.
I got something else I want to say too. We're seeing it right now, and I'm playing into it, and maybe I want to tone it down, but I feel like Ayuk deserves it, man. You wanted $30 million a year. This is the criticism that comes along with it. And if you watch the film, he's open. He's not getting all the opportunities, but at the same time, he did get 10 targets and he got 5 catches. And it's fair to be like, dude, you didn't earn your contract today. And people are being ruthless with Ayuk, and I think it's fair. What about Bosa, man? Bosa makes more than Ayuk. Bosa is doing the same thing, and he's been doing it since last year. He doesn't make the impact that a $34 million a year player should be making. He's now the most expensive player on a defense that is bad, and he comes out and just has very little to say. Now, when he does say things, it actually there's some substance there. With Ayuk, sometimes it feels like he just doesn't want to talk at all. But really, like, both of them seem embarrassed. Both of them seem equally embarrassed, standing there being like, man, I don't know what to tell you. I got the money. I'm supposed to be making the impact, and I'm not.
Yeah, I mean, it's not only Bosa, it's Hargrave too. Hargrave's what, $20 million a year? He's not
21.
21. Nah, it's not even close to that level.
The two of them.
Yeah, it's both of them. One thing I did like from Bosa, what he said yesterday, is we got to feel it. And maybe that's the issue. I mean, he spoke out on it, talking about we have to feel this loss, because I think the 49ers, and it goes back to, and I defended Debo when he said, we're the best team, because I want you to think you're the best. But I mean, this defense is not even close to the best. I tweeted out before the season, I think there's going to be a top 3 defense. Diamador Lenore, who I do like and who has been playing pretty damn well, retweeted and says, we've been that, right? So there's this attitude that they think it was just a mistake, we'll be fine. No, Bosa says we need to feel it. You need to feel this loss. You need to understand that you're not the best, and you have to do way freaking better than how you've been playing so far. So that was one thing I did like from Bosa, but no, he's not playing up to his contract. Neither is Hargrave. I mean, Warner's probably one of the few people, Charvarius Ward, one of the two people on this defense that are actually playing up to their contract. Outside of that, no. And on the offensive side of the ball, it's week 3 now. I was one of the guys that really wanted Brandon Ayuk to come back for much cheaper and earlier, but I did want him to come back, and he's not playing up to his contract either. So there's going to be no more excuses made from me at this point. It's time to step up and earn your money.
One thing I do appreciate about Bosa is that after a loss, you can see that he feels it. Like, he's not shrugging it off and being like, oh, one of those things. He seems like he feels it, like he emotionally has a reaction, and he seems like he gives the most honest answers as to what happened. That being said, he needs to play better. Like, it's great that you're super good with the media now, and that's definitely a part of being the highest paid player on the team, but you also have to play better. And it's not just getting a sack or two a game. That's great, but it's like down in and down out effort, run defense, pressure, all of it. Yeah. So I just don't think he should skate. Like, Bosa, Ayuk's getting crushed, and I think it's fair. So Bosa should get crushed too.